Yes.
Hello and welcome to episode 26 of Pause the Vow.
And what week is this?
This is part one of this episode is part one of the partner swap week.
Feedback.
Feedback week.
Yeah, because partner swap in the previous seasons used to be like,
And it was like a sleepover, wasn't it, sometimes?
yeah, why do you think they removed that?
Feedback week, my mistake.
Do you think that some scandals happened?
Of course they did. Of course they did. Anyway, there's no point doing our full couples roundup today, is there? Because, there's not every couple's necessarily been focused on. You think that's
All
all
right,
right?
yeah, let's talk about what happened before the feedback. I think it starts with Gia and Scott.
Yeah?
After watching the dinner party, like after dinner party, I understand like when somebody is scared.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like. Scott looks like it's an being in
Yeah.
a total state of fear for most of the things because he just has no idea what sets of G and what doesn't.
No, and he doesn't want to have to deal with it. So he's just trying to just tread that fine line when he has to and stay well back from it whenever he can.
Yeah, and also Gia is like a master manipulator because if you observe the reason last night she felt was Juliet gave Gia's name and she felt humiliated and she left. But
Well, she said she left because Scott pissed her off because he's not on the same page as her with her like falling in love. I just thought that was just her making an excuse, scapegoating him just because she'd had enough. She'd been thrown under the bus by Juliet. Probably rightfully so. So she just made an excuse and bailed. So it shows how little she actually cares about him. Because in another circumstance, if she actually cared about the partner, I'd imagine she'd be like, just step outside with me, and then they'd leg it. Or even just stand up and say, we're off, bye. But she didn't tell him, she just bailed on him and left him alone. But as expected, she didn't go all the way home. She didn't quit the show again. She just went back to the apartment because obviously she's not had enough airtime. She wants more.
yeah, and then we see that Juliet has sent the screenshot of the text messages sent by Beck to the group to Alyssa.
Yeah.
What a surprise!
Well, she's not in it anymore. She might as well continue throwing people under the bus from afar. Juliet's got nothing to lose.
I mean, are you sure it was Juliet that sent them, or it was just Gia that sent them and said, say Juliet's name?
I don't know, but they
It's
said Juliet. That's all we've got to go by. Juliet was sent them by Gia. Juliet had nothing to lose. It's not like she was worried about keeping Gia's friendship, is it? So
Yeah, and our Queen of Highness, Alicia, is like, these are so vulgar. And she read few of them for the
she read
camera.
quite a few of them out, yeah.
And I'm like,
To be fair, though, Beck was really tearing into Alyssa and David a lot in the.
see, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, if you have never been a part of a friend group, this is what happens. It's the hate that connects the people, sadly. And I don't know, I mean, I think they were just bitching about somebody
Yeah.
as a collective group. But yeah, it's funny like how only what Beck said has come out and
Yeah, of
what.
course. Of course, because it's going to have been played that way, isn't it?
Yeah, and then
And then it also showed Beck talking to Danny before the feedback swaps all started. And she was basically scapegoating Gia and name calling about the messages. Because yes, in one sense, Beck's probably being framed, but equally, she said those things. So, either ask for the full conversations or provide them yourself because surely she has the message threads from this group chat that will expose the other people for doing the same thing. But if she's not wanting to do that, is that because she said the worst out of everyone? Or has she been the only person to say it and everyone else has just egged her on and encouraged it, making themselves look better and making Beck look bad, in which case it could be just a huge conspiracy.
all right, I don't know what to say about this, but I think you're reading too much into this. I mean, people shot chats shit about others quite commonly.
Yeah, it's just the fact that it's only Beck saying bad things that has been shared. If it's a group chat, surely she's not going to be the only person in that chat slagging people off. So it seems like it's only Beck slagging people off in the screenshots that's been shared. So where's Gia's contribution and Brooks and Rebecca's and whoever else was in that group chat, you know? Where's their messages to
Why
prove
are
that
you
they're all just as
why
bad?
are you treating it this like a case?
It is a case.
All right.
It's the mystery.
Okay. Then we see Alicia telling David twice or three times, or I don't know how many times.
Don't discuss them if you get.
If you get Becca,
Yeah.
Danny, do not discuss any of the phone messages.
Yeah.
That is my surprise to give to her. You shut the fuck up.
Basically, yeah.
That's what she said. And David waits.
He waits a long time.
Before that, let's go to Scott. Who does Scott get?
Stella.
And who is Stella? According to you, after what you have seen today.
What do you mean?
Never mind. Go ahead.
Well, Scott had Stella for feedback and vice versa. And as expected, everything for Stella was positive. She seemed to find it quite reassuring. And Scott opened up to her. Now, I felt like the fact he's seemed scared to tell Gia about the conversation and was stumbling over it, fumbling. And he said, "Do you know what I mean?" So much in that conversation with Gia, he was starting to sound like Danny. It's like he was too scared to actually open up, and it's almost like, well, has he kind of had that behind the scenes a little bit? But also, just to go back a little bit, we missed a little bit. So Scott and Gia, before the feedback sessions, I don't know what to call them, before the feedback session started, Scott had to persuade Gia, didn't he, basically, to kind of take part. He was encouraging her, and she was like, "Yeah, okay, all right." And I feel
Yeah, she
like the
said.
way that she talked to him at the end of that conversation about him. Sorry, I'm getting all mixed up. I've got a couple of things to kind of jump back to. So Scott and Gia were shown having a conversation about where she is with the "I love you" and where he's at, and she near enough gave him an ultimatum. But it was just the way she talked to him at the end of that conversation about the fact that he doesn't yet love her, just wasn't nice. And I wondered if it was a bit of a hint of how she talks to him, because he was just like, "I'm not going to engage with you when you talk to me."
I mean, because of after dinner party show, we already know that like it's way worse than
Well, I
that.
think it's a bit of a combination. We've seen that. We've seen that he's scared to tell Gia exactly what he talked about with Stella, the after the dinner party show, and then the clip on after the dinner party from the retreat, where it was a case of, "I'll talk to you off camera. I'll talk to you when the cameras have gone." And he was just like, "All right, okay, well, fine. I guess I can't say anything else." So, yeah, it's starting to seem like he just gets constantly shut down and shouted at.
Well, from what the thing is, he just everybody will say that he's being nice guy and all,
Yeah.
but he just doesn't know how to stand up for himself in spite of his, I don't know,
Macho persona.
macho persona and
Yeah.
then successful businesses, dating experiences. He just doesn't know how to stand up. Like,
No, and I get that he's probably quite not sensitive person as such, but maybe quite soft in a relationship. And yeah, that's just kind of leading to people pleasing with Gia, at least, isn't it? I'll just keep her happy, keep the peace, because I can't be bothered with the aggro. If she comes at me, it's just going to be awful. It's just put up and shut up.
I guess, I mean, yeah, it's just he doesn't just see if it's Danny with Gia.
Yeah.
Danny would have actually stood up for himself.
Yeah, I think he would. He would have done.
And Gia, whatever she just occupies whatever space is available. Like,
Yeah.
if you let her lead and dictate terms, she's a Nazi. I mean, Hitler would be scared of her.
Okay, well, I'm not going to go into that, but Gia obviously agreed with Scott that yes, she'll take part almost to keep him happy. So almost like she's people pleasing with him a teeny bit. I wouldn't say that happens very often. Waited for him to leave and then was like, "I'm not going. I'm not doing that. this experiment is bullshit, and whatever else she said, which kind of to be expected with Gia. She already had a feeling she was going to be paired with Beck or Danny, and she got paired with Danny. Poor Danny sat in a pub with a pint just getting stood up. But at least Danny was open to getting feedback, even if it was from Scott or Gia. You know, like he.
Ah, come on. Danny knows to, Danny knows the dance, but no, he has no humility. Like whatever humility you say is a facade. Danny is his own universe.
I'm not saying it would have gone well, but he seemed like he was open to it. Chances are, if Gia had gone, she'd have kicked off an argument and it wouldn't have gone well for either of them, you know?
But
But
for Gia to
he just
have
didn't
the
go.
but for Gia to have the intuition, like she kind of felt it was Danny or Beck, and it is Danny. She was, I mean, I kind of see it why it is, because it's always them. They had this friction about
Yeah.
Gia saying something that Danny saying Gia is my type, and it's always something going. And when Danny called Gia a liar, it's, yeah, I can see it. I mean, I can see it now, but for her to know, it's brilliant. I mean, the producers kind of pushed her, and she kept on bitching for how long ever, because she knew if she bitch starts bitch, they have to fucking leave, because there is a limit to what they can take.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And then, unsurprisingly, Beck was paired with David. She tried blaming everyone but herself for the comments that she made. And even her, when she was taking responsibility in that conversation, it was just brushed over. It's like, yes, I take accountability, but blah, 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 blah. And all she's learned is that she shouldn't put things in text messages.
And that's no. It's
That's
just
all
no,
she
no,
said
no,
she's
no,
learned.
no. What I'm saying is, what she has learned is something everybody should learn, because uh, come on,
If you're going to
everybody is,
complain, don't put it in writing.
yeah, everybody is kind of a bad person according to the political correctness standard of whatever standard they are using.
Yeah.
Everybody is wrong, everybody is a sinner, like it's like religion, everybody is sinner, everybody is very low compared to God, and everything, like it's the same kind of standard today. And I'm glad that she really learned that, because there are some awful people like Gia who will use it for anything, like
Yeah, that's true.
Gia had just, I don't know, I mean, nobody might have held her accountable,
Yeah.
but she's feeling it. Like she's feeling how bad it looks to the audience, even though, because she's in the game, like there are only two people that are in the main story. That's Chia and back everybody is else side characters and
Yeah.
NPC.
NPCs.
Yeah.
And then the only other thing really to say about that particular conversation is that Beck was saying, wasn't she, to David, like, oh, how do you know what these messages say? How do you know? And she pulled a funny face, like, her, like, there's no, like, I don't know how to describe it. And then he was like, because we've seen them, and her face just completely flipped. She looked horrified.
That's what I'm talking about. She has a very expressive face. Like she has no control of it. I mean, if she could have, I'm sure she would have, but it's just one of those things. Some people have very expressive
Yeah.
faces and some don't. Like
Yes, that's
Gia.
true.
Oh, maybe she should put some plastic in her face.
Who? Beck.
Back.
She already has, can you not tell?
I don't know how much it is, but how can her face be so expressive even after that?
Because you're confusing fillers with Botox. They're not the same thing.
I'm sure she must have some Botox too.
Botox is what freezes your face, right? So
Yeah, I don't know. People with
she would
fillers
need a
usually.
lot of Botox to stop her face being so expressive. It's not quite Jim Carrey territory, but it's not. It's on the spectrum of it, isn't it?
It
With
is
how
like,
rubbery the expressions can be.
yeah, it's just the expressions. I mean, David has expressions, but they are very, how do you say,
I don't know.
minute version of it, like very micro expressions compared to what he has. And you know what I think?
What?
I think David wanted
I don't know because
nobody
he
in.
barely says anything. He barely gets shown saying anything. I actually don't think he's very expressive. He has the same two facial expressions, no matter whether he's happy, sad, disgusted, joyful, horrified, whatever it might be. It's always generally the same.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it's not
Maybe he
that
hammers the
same.
Botox.
No, I personally think it's just no. I just understand looking at David's face why people say black don't crack. It's just
Okay, I'm not going to go there on that one.
I don't
I
know.
have I have heard it from a friend and colleague that I used to work with, and she always said, I think she was in her 50s at the time when she said it, and she still looks good now. It's like 15, 20 years later.
Which is all right. Let's come back. Yeah, I thought David. I mean, he waited like 20 seconds
Yeah,
and 15 seconds of introspection to just split them, to just say it that he has seen the messages, because this will really piss off our prank queen Alicia.
bright green.
You know how Alicia started her wedding.
Yeah,
I think she wanted to do something like this. She has this. She must have planned something in her head. That is why she said again and again to David, "Do not divulge. Do whatever you want. Talk as if normally, but do not divulge at any point of time."
maybe.
And what he does, he reveals it for his 15 second.
Yeah, I don't know. He was holding back. He was. It shows for us like 15 seconds, but in reality, it might have been much much longer.
I mean, if it's much longer, he could have just held it up. It's not like going to
Yeah.
toilet. You can hold it. Some people take it to grave secrets, so he can hold it for 2 hours.
Okay. I'll take your word for it on that one.
Yeah, but anyway, I just thought he kind of took that spotlight from Melissa.
Yeah, well, we'll find out in tomorrow's episode when the feedback week, not partner swap, continues.
Hopefully, I mean, I'm kind of this point. It's
You
nice.
always get to around this point or another week after and go, I've had enough now, I'm bored, I don't want to watch anymore. But now we've got Post the Vows, and you're going to have to see it through to the final commitment ceremonies,
Yeah, it's just
like it
sad.
or
I mean,
not.
I'm hoping. See, I don't have much. What do you say? Much hopes for anyone except Stella and our boy YouTube.
Philip?
Yeah, Philip and Stella,
Oh, sorry, come on.
and maybe in. I don't know about. I don't know. I had a good opinion about Rachel and Steve
Yeah,
until Rachel pulled off that stunt at recreation retreat.
it wasn't a stunt. Just move on.
I see it as
Move
a
on.
stunt,
Please
but
move on.
alright. And then Beck and Danny, can you ever trust?
No.
Scott and Gia, can you stand I think you can
Oh,
stand Gia. I cannot stand like
back
10
and
feet.
forth.
I cannot be in the vicinity of her. As simple as it is.
Okay.
And who else are left? Alicia and
Sam
David.
and Philip
Oh,
next.
Sam and Philip. It was quite revealing. We didn't talk about them.
It's only very brief. Well, that's why I just went, oh, a moment ago because it suddenly pops into my head.
Yeah, Sam and Philip. Is it Philip?
Yeah,
No. Sam and Philip.
yeah, Philip and Stella.
Philip and Stella. Sam and
Philip
Chris.
Philip did feedback
No, no, Sam and Chris, isn't it?
as the couple, yes, but Philip and Sam were paired for feedback.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I was
Let's.
trying to talk about.
Yeah. The only thing is, we'll not talk about Philip. It's just, I'm sorry, there is
Well,
no
there was no
change.
feedback really for him, was there?
Yeah. But Sam, it's quite revealing that Chris never talked about their situation or the future with Sam.
Yeah,
But in front of the experts, he just blurted it out.
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Let's see,
But
because
the only thing Sam that's really said that was revealing was how, well, to crudely summarize, he's basically having these kids thrust upon him in a timeline that he doesn't want, he's not comfortable with, and he hasn't been bothered to speak up and say anything before now.
yeah, I mean, I think Sam doesn't like pretentious people, and Chris is coming across as a pretentious person.
Yeah.
And I think that's about it. Is there anyone you will want to talk about?
No, I don't think so. I think that's everything, to be honest.
Yeah, and
It,
I also feel like the mid couple entry, I think should not happen, because what happening is
it's too messy.
it's too messy. They are just getting amid the drama,
Yeah.
like they are getting sucked into the drama, or yeah, when they get sucked into the drama, they're just getting fleshed out directly. It
Yeah.
happens again and again and again.
And whether they come in at the start or part way through, it doesn't, one doesn't correlate with the other as to whether they're actually going to stay and stick it out to the end anyway. So you might as well have more couples at the start that are going to potentially stay till the end, give them more of an opportunity.
You know what I think? There should be two groups.
Right.
Can
No, it's not an actual bloody trial with a randomized and controlled group.
Oh no, no, I'm not talking
That's what
about
it sounded like you were going to
randomized and
say.
controlled groups, but I'm talking about two different groups and then bringing together after half part. That will create more dynamics and more interest after the first half of the experiment. Otherwise, what is happening is it's like you have seen it, you just see it unraveling. Like it doesn't matter whether they say yes at the commitment ceremony or not, because most of the people that say yes or not do not last a year. So
Yeah,
you kind of see it happening. What's there? I don't know. The only thing I want to say is what's with Alice and Scott? I mean, they are putting on a show, or are they genuine and the producers not showing anything?
I don't know.
Because I don't see anything there. I don't see much of the chemistry there, and it's
No.
always this, I don't know, PR trained things. Both are PR trained.
They only show like small happy moments where everything's good. They don't show any challenge or anything like that.
Yeah, they
Like
don't.
even the chemistry, they don't really show any of that. And it's just like, right, okay, we just take it at face value. It is what it is, whatever.
Yeah, it's one of those things like I don't know, I just don't see anything about them. If you see, the only storyline she is involved is Alicia was kind of bullied at the start, and then these text messages giving her more content and more content and more content.
Yeah.
But them as a couple, not really.
No,
And with
not very
that,
much.
let's end the show.
All right. Bye.
Bye.